In this episode, I will tell you about a plant that is not only very common and easily available, but also extremely healthy. The vegetable I have in mind is characterized by a very strong anti-cancer effect and so much more than that. What I am talking about are carrots. If you want to know why you should reach for them and why their juice can be better than the whole vegetable, I encourage you to keep watching. First, let me tell you what valuable components can be found in carrots. Well, carrots are a good source of dietary fiber. In 100 grams or 2 medium-sized carrots, we can find almost 3 grams of this ingredient. In addition, carrots contain a relatively high amount of potassium at about 300 milligrams per 100 grams. However, what mostly makes carrots so beneficial to our health is beta-carotene, a compound from the carotenoid group which has a very strong antioxidant effect. After consuming carrots, the body converts the beta-carotene present in them into vitamin A. That is why beta-carotene is called provitamin A. Here I can tell you that 100 grams of carrots provide up to 100% of our daily requirement of vitamin A. This means only 2 medium-sized carrots are enough to provide sufficient supply of vitamin A for the whole day. Since we are talking about active ingredients in carrots, few people know that this vegetable contains other valuable compounds, often overlooked in discussions. These are pharcalinol and phenylpropanoids, to which anti-cancer effects are attributed. When speaking of carrots, it is impossible not to bring up the topic of carbohydrates. Well, there is a belief that carrots provide high amounts of this ingredient, which makes a lot of people afraid of eating them regularly or at least consuming large portions of them at once. However, this is not entirely accurate. Actually, carrots contain about 5 grams of carbohydrates per 100 grams. Indeed, compared to other vegetables, this is quite a lot, but still not a bad result, especially since, as I mentioned, carrots contain dietary fiber which reduces the effect of carbohydrates on blood sugar. In addition, research results show that carrots have a low glycemic index. This means that glucose levels do not rise sharply after eating it. Nevertheless, you should be aware that the glycemic index value will be higher for cooked and even roasted carrots. More specifically, the glycemic index of raw carrots is 16, while that of whole cooked carrots is 33. This rule applies to all products. The more processed the product, the higher its glycemic index. Moreover, the glycemic index of carrots rises to 49 when we cut or grate them and then boil them rather than cook them whole. Since you already know what ingredients carrots owe their effects to, let's move on to discussing their specific health benefits. As I mentioned, carrots are particularly valuable for their anti-cancer properties. Few other products are as effective in preventing the formation of cancerous lesions. For example, in 2020, researchers published the results of an extensive study involving over 57,000 people, in which they showed a connection between eating just about 4 carrots a week and a 17% decrease in risk of developing colon cancer. Scientists believe that carrots owe such properties to the compounds present in them which exhibit antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. In addition, they have cytotoxic activity, that is, they are characterized by their ability to destroy various cells, in this case specifically cancer cells. The scope of cancer prevention as regards carrots, however, is much broader. An extensive meta-analysis from 2015 found that people who regularly eat this vegetable have a lower risk of stomach cancer by as much as 26%. Moreover, another comprehensive scientific study, which included over 200,000 participants, found that people who frequently reach for carrots have a 42% lower risk of developing lung cancer compared to those who avoid the vegetable. It is also worth mentioning that, based on 6 scientific studies, experts indicate that frequent eating of carrots is associated with lower risk of bladder cancer by an average of 37%. Carrots are an especially valuable dietary ingredient for women. This is because consuming them in large quantities to some extent protects against the development of breast cancer. The risk is lowered by 21%. Consumption of carrots can also benefit men due to the fact that their components prevent the occurrence of prostate cancer. The health benefits of carrots are not limited to anti-cancer effects. The vegetable also has a positive impact on the cardiovascular system and prevents many diseases. Researchers noted that providing high amounts of beta-carotene present in carrots results in reducing the risk of developing strokes and coronary heart disease by 8 to 19%. Here I will also add that carrots are our most important source of beta-carotene, since they are where we get most of this ingredient. Beta-carotene is also an important substance for ensuring the health of our eyes. In 2019, researchers published a comprehensive scientific paper in which they confirmed that people who ingest high amounts of beta-carotene have a lower risk of cataracts by an average of 11%. Carrots may also show some beneficial effects on bones. That's because the beta-carotene, as a result of its antioxidant properties, protects bones from resorption or decomposition. Experts have noted that consumption of beta-carotene leads to an increase in bone mineral density. In short, this means that beta-carotene strengthens our skeletal system, which translates into other health benefits. For instance, a recent publication from 2020 unequivocally proves that ingesting high amounts of beta-carotene is associated with a 33% lower risk of bone fractures. When discussing the health benefits of carrots, it is also worth recalling that the beta-carotene contained in them is converted to vitamin A, which in turn strengthens our immunity, helps maintain the proper condition of mucous membranes, and improves the condition of the skin. Additionally, it has a positive impact on iron metabolism. By this, I mean that it improves the incorporation of iron into hemoglobin, thus accelerating the treatment of anemia. Now, 2 words about the form in which carrots are best used. Well, in general, I am in favor of consuming vegetables in their raw form, firstly because of the fiber they contain, and secondly, the less processing, the more vitamins will be preserved in them. But for carrots, as well as some others, an exception can be made. This is because beta-carotene is trapped in carrots' tissues, which causes its fairly low bioavailability. Therefore, our body cannot make efficient use of it. However, it's worth knowing that any means of thermal or physical processing, such as heating, chopping, or squeezing, increases the bioavailability. As a result, plant tissue is loosened and beta-carotene is released, leading to our intestines absorbing it better. Also, while I don't recommend reaching for vegetable and fruit juices too often, in this case it's a very good option. A carrot salad or lightly cooked whole carrots would also work pretty well. Ideally, you should both eat the vegetable due to the fiber it provides and drink juice from it. At this point, I will also add that beta-carotene is a fat-soluble compound. Therefore, the addition of vegetable oil or another source of fat, including for example nuts or seeds, can further increase the bioavailability of this component. It is then worth adding a bit of your favorite oil to your carrot salad or juice. If you don't want to affect the taste too much, it's best to use oils and nuts with a mild flavor: linseed oil, grapeseed oil, or cashew nuts. I hope that through this video I will encourage at least some of you to eat carrots and drink carrot juice more often. As I mentioned, it is good to combine them with fat, for example in the form of nuts. Fat presents will further increase the health benefits of the vegetable. Let me know in the comments below which way of preparing carrots you like the most. Also, I encourage you to watch other video on my channel in which I tell you how to make healthy and easy flaxseed snacks. You can mix these seeds with carrot juice as well. To watch the video, just click now on the miniature that appeared on the screen. That's all in today's video. Thank you for your attention and see you next time.